Today on the workbench, I've got something new here. This is an Athearn Genesis SD70ACU, and it is equipped with a tsunami decoder. So this is DCC, but this gentleman wants me to replace that unit. We are going to put in a ESU 58821. So we'll get this thing programmed up and we'll get it in. We're also going to put in a scale sound system speaker in this. I'm not sure which one yet. I want to take this apart and see what we're going to get into. So there's no time like the present, I believe. Of course, the first thing we'll have to do, I'm going to pull the couplers off of it. Not going to make any other upgrades to this, just the speaker and the decoder. That out of there. I might have to look at the instructions here to see. This thing's loaded down. It's got the ground lights and everything on it. So I've got another screw right here in front of the fuel tank, and there's one right there behind it. So we'll end up pulling those out. So now pull right off. Okay. It's got two sugar cube speakers in it. Let me set this down. Alright. Pull that around that way. Get that around there. So I'll get a couple of speakers ordered up, or a speaker ordered up for this thing. It'll set right in here, and then we'll be ready to do this install. Alright, we're back on this project. We got our scale sound system speakers in. This is the part number AHGS-8090 plus UN12. So what these will do, there's actually two speakers here. Dig these out. We got one for the front and one for the rear. So this is the rear speaker, and you can buy these separately if you want to. And this is the front speaker. So I wanted to have those before I started disassembling this thing and running the wire. So we'll get some of this stuff, get some of this taken apart. Get that tape off of there. I don't know what kind of tape that is. I don't know if it's a clear Kapton tape or what, but so I'm not too worried about the speaker wires, I can always run new speaker wire, and I'm not going to try to pull those caps off. I'm just going to go ahead and cut those speakers, or speaker, and I'll get rid of this old one, because I kind of want to do this, install it as wired as we go, I guess you'd say. I'm going to remove this old speaker. Get that out of the way. So there's the old one, just got a little set of sugar cubes in it. We'll send that back to the customer. And so we've got our, of course, here's our decoder, ESU. I'll start back here in the back. The back seems to be always seems to be the simplest. So let's I'm going to clean this up a little bit, especially around these screw holes. Just kind of cut the flash off with a knife. You could use a reamer for this. Got a small one, but the knife was handy. That there. Hopefully my air conditioner is not overpowering, because it's about, I think it's like 98 degrees outside, and probably around, it feels like it's about 100% humidity, but I think the heat index is well over 100. So this is the perfect day to be sitting inside working on something. So let's go ahead. Now the track pickup wires, I'm going to go ahead and cut those because I know what they are. That'll get that out of the way. And I'm going to cut this backlight. Now I am going to keep all this together. These are all the positives for a couple of these. Well, what am I looking for? Come off of there. What a jumbled up mess. But we'll kind of lay this off to the side here. Twist all these together so I don't forget anything when I go to put it back. Twist this third one in. Kind of makes it handy to keep all of them together. I'll go ahead and put some solder on here. Well, if I can get everything out of my way. Okay. So all that soldered together. I'm going to go ahead and remove that board. I'll cut those motor wires. There. Now I can lay that out of the way and we'll be good. So let's go ahead, strip our motor wire. Okay, now this should just drop right on. We'll go ahead and run our motor wire up through. Let's see, let me try something first. We're going to see if red's positive on this. Yep. I was just looking at the direction of travel there for the wheels. Just kind of using a 9-volt battery. So the red is the positive. This board is labeled. With red as positive. So we'll get that one. And through this black one up here into the negative. Probably ought to put some flux on that before I do anything. Okay. Now I'll trim that off. And we have our first couple of connections there for the motor. So go ahead and put these track pickups down. Cut them off. So really at this point, other than, you know, where these things go, we are at the lather, rinse, repeat part of the process. Kind of get those out of the way, because I will add some wiring here in just a minute to the speakers. Okay. Might as well put that, solder that on there right now, flux that. There's that. Okay. So there's our rear track pickups. That leaves me enough wire to put that down. We'll put some Kapton tape across that here in a minute after I get the speakers on. So let's go ahead and do that. Saving that for something else. This is an ESU wire, 36 gauge wire. Nice and flexible. Takes solder really well. Okay. There's that one. And go ahead, and that'll run up here. So I'm going to give myself a little room. Some flux there. Okay. And I will hook these up in parallel. These ESU decoders seem to like parallel the best of anything. So let me take and strip and flux these things. I do have this programmed already. Well, it's an X18 decoder on this board, so I've got to actually put it on the board, but I do have the decoder programmed. I'm starting to like this chip quick paste really well. It doesn't make quite the mess that the liquid does. So let's see. The negative I'm going to put over here on speaker 2. And I've got that and the positive on the terminal for speaker 1. So in reality, I could test this thing out right now, but I'm not going to. What I am going to do is hook up my positives, and this is the positive side of this decoder. Trim that off a little bit. Get some flux. And let me get this. Okay. There's our positive side. Trim that off. So like I say, we're basically down to lather, rinse, repeat on this. This is the function wire for the rear lights. Okay. So there are the rear lights, the rear speaker, all tucked in. I'll just have to do a little bit of wire management when it comes to time. I'm gonna go ahead and see what do we got here. This is our front headlight underneath this weight. So I'm gonna cut that, and we've got all of our positives hooked into one again, which that's no biggie. I will take and solder all of that together. Try to get some flux in it. Put a little more flux in the back. And I will trim that up to make it look neater here in a minute. Trim that. And it's just a little bit out of shape there. There it went. So just to make sure that that is the positive. Well, so there. I messed that up. I've got that positive wire running through. I kept it in that bundle, and I forgot to pull it out of that weight. I don't know if you can see that or not. So this wire right here, let's see. Let me get that out of the way, because I was getting ready to go hook those up. Now I can't. All right. So, I'll take care of that. Pull that out. And it's this one here. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that. Okay. So let me pull this front weight off. That out of the way. Move that. So I'll set that up just like that right there. I think I'll, well, I could, yeah. Let me clean that off. Well, if I can get my alcohol dispenser to work. Come on. Well, it doesn't seem to be working. I haven't had that for very long either. Alright. No wonder the hose is cracked on that side. Try that. Well, that still didn't help me any. Alright. So, back to just dipping it in the alcohol. Break out some double-sided tape. Now before I fasten that, I'm going to go ahead and wire it up. Okay. Put my cap back on my alcohol. Wire. I never flux the speaker. I don't want to make a mess all over those speakers. And I've always had really good luck with them taking solder, so I don't have to really worry about it too much. Let me do a little test fit here. Myself a little bit. So now we'll go ahead and do this side. All right. Some of that stuff out of the way. Now we can get these stripped off. So this thing is going to have plenty of sound to it. Get that out of the way. So let's work from here back this way now. So this red wire is the track pickup over here. Okay, so there's that one. And I am going to trim this red down. And it is the positive that goes in here. So let me do a little better on that one. There's all of our positives hooked back up. Pull this speaker wire. This is the positive speaker wire. So it'll go over here. So there's that one. Now, let me get our function wire for that front light. So now this decoder, this new decoder that I'm putting in, is only 6 functions. The Tsunami decoder that we took out is 8 function. So what we're going to do is, I mean, it'll work. I'm not going to be able to have flashing ditch lights, front or rear. So that'll be the downfall of this decoder. But this gentleman had it, he sent it to me, that's what he wanted. and that's what we'll put in. But I mean, it'll still work, no problem. I don't know if this line uses flashing ditch lights or not. Now I'm hooking up the other track pickup. Let go of it too soon. Okay. Now, I just got to hook this other speaker wire up. And at some point, I ought to test this thing. And that'll probably be right after I get this speaker wire hooked up. Alright, there's our other speaker wire. So now, I think I will get the decoder, put it on here, and test this thing out before I go too much farther. See if the direction of travel is good. And see if at least the front and rear light work. So I'll be back. Alright, so the way it sits now, the front and rear light work. It's got good sound to it. The direction of travel is good, so we don't have to worry about that. Now we can go back to our board and we can start consolidating some stuff. So I'm going to start with the rear ditch lights, and I'm just going to go ahead and snip that off. And we'll go ahead strip these. And like I say, this is only a 6-function decoder. So we will not be able to separate the ditch lights. But we'll just start down through, and this will be this will probably be aux 4. whatever's first here. And so on and so forth. So this is the rear ditch lights. I should have went ahead and put just going to go ahead and flux all those and tin all of them. So there's aux 4. Now what do we got here? I'm going to cut off these two. These are the front ditch lights. So we'll cut and trim those. Okay. And really this thing is almost done. Couple more connections. A little tidying up. Well, come on. Jinxed myself. There we go. And I'll have to write this down for when I go to program the thing. Okay. This will be aux 3. Oh, wait a minute. I'm on the wrong one. Okay. Trim that a little bit. All right. aux 4 is the rear. Rear ditch. aux 3 is the front. And then we have 3 more wires. I know it doesn't look like 3, but these 2 wires are the ground lights. I'm going to leave them long. and then I'll cut that off. This will be aux 2. Okay. And one more wire, which is, I believe, the cab light. So we'll send him his old decoder back. I do not need that. Put that up on aux 1. Okay. So this thing is fully wired, but I am going to write so aux 2, aux 1, aux 2 was the ground lights, and aux 1 is the cab light. And I better write the locomotive number down, because if I don't, I'll have it screwed up with something else. Okay. So at this point, we are to wire management and testing. I'll have to do I will have to change a little bit of the program. But yeah, the next time you see this, it'll be up on the test track and we'll be running it. So let me get these few little things siphoned out and I'll be back. Alright, I'm going to show this. That way I don't get any questions about it. This front speaker, I installed it wrong. Instead of putting it like I did, I should have, I'm pulling my Kapton tape off as I cleaned this thing up, started to put it together, would not go. Of course, you can see that little, oh, get this out of the way. You can see that little cutout. I should have taken that little cutout, because you've got your body mount right here. I should have mounted it like that. No harm, no foul. Everything still works out. Let me clean off my speaker, that way I can put my Kapton tape on there. So let me put that together. And then we'll be able to close this thing up. Yeah, I started on that and I thought, what in the world is going on there? But we got it figured out. Like I say, no harm, no foul. Nope. There. That slides together a lot better. I think maybe, yeah, I've got a couple of wires there on the side. Okay. So there we're back together. I've just got to put the screws in. We'll go ahead get our front coupler in. Sometimes be helpful if I had 3 hands. There's that one, and all the functions do work. So it does. I've got it all programmed in. It does all work like it's supposed to. To get it around my brake cut lever. Oh, grabbed the wrong screw. Well, good Lord. I'm just going to sit here and fight this thing all day. Like a... There we go. Okay. Now I've just got these 2 screws here on the edge. Hold the body down. One more. Okay. There we are. So the next time you see it, it'll be up on the test track. Alright, we've got this project finished up. Got it up on the test track here so you can see it. We'll go ahead and I'll go through these lighting functions on this. Of course, we've got our headlight there. Yeah, you can see that it's fairly decent angle. We've got our ditch lights, And then the ground light, you can see it there under the cab. Of course, we've got a rear light, rear ditch lights, and then we've got our number boards. So that's our lighting functions. We'll go ahead and start this thing up. So it does have a good sound to it. We'll go ahead and start this thing forward. And I'll get it to the long hood. You'll be able to see. Alright, there you can see the rear light come on, and let's see, and there's our rear ditch lights. So we'll start it back. That's at speed step 3 right there. So it does sound pretty good, runs pretty good, and we're complete with this project. So thanks for watching.